Get ready for your unofficial dental hygiene podcast. These are the tales of two hygienists, one East Coast RDH and one West Coast hygienist. Listen as they tackle the profession of dental hygiene with humor and enthusiasm. Now, please join Michelle Strange and Andrew Johnston as they tell you a tale of two hygienists.
Episode 75. Hello, everyone. This is Andrew from A Tale of Two Hygienists. I'm going to keep this little intro short because it is a long interview today, but it's a fantastic interview. You guys are really going to appreciate this one. If you guys would do us a big favor, we want to continue to spread the word about this awesome podcast. So please tell your friends, go steal their phones, make them download it, make them subscribe. Also, if you guys would rate us on iTunes or whatever software you use to download podcasts, we'd appreciate that. So coming up next week is also a really good episode. It is an interview with a dear friend, and her name is Cassandra, and she's not a dental hygienist, but she has an amazing and unique perspective that I think that all of us need to know. And it's, again, kind of another longer one, but I think you guys are really going to appreciate the information that comes out of it. So stay tuned for next week. I think you guys will really enjoy it, and we will talk to you soon. Hey, Michelle.
Yeah?
It's time for the interview.
Oh, but I had something else to say.
We need to let the experts talk now.
Fine.
Welcome, listeners, to a special episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists. My name is Andrew, and I am flying not solo because I have a co-host with me that's not Michelle.
That is correct. It is not Michelle. It is Mike.
I was just making sure. I'd look over to make sure it wasn't her.
It's
This is my brother Mike Cole. Mikey Boo Boo. Michael Ray.
brother.
You might know him from previous episodes as brother or as Legolas
or the guy that doesn't like Facebook.
The guy that doesn't like Facebook, or Smiles at Sea brother, or I don't know. You might know him from then. So, what I would like to do today is put Mike on the spot and have him interview our guests. Hold on. Do you want... What do you go by?
Sandy Lee.
You go Sandy. Okay. I wasn't sure.
Makes it easy.
It does make it easy, but I wasn't sure if you just don't want people trying to stalk you.
I don't want stalkers.
I already am stalking you. And okay, so Mike's going to help us interview... Well, kind of... I don't want to say interview. That's not the right word. But welcome to the show, Sandy Lee. A return guest.
Heck yes.
I think you might be number 3 return guest. That's pretty prestigious because there's only
I should be number one.
I meant number 1.
Okay.
You are... Let's see. Do I make the
one
other
of 3?
The other 2 mad?
I'm number 1 of 3.
My favorite, or do I just leave it at that? I'll just quit talking about it. But so welcome to the both of you to being on the podcast.
Thank you,
awesome. Mike's gonna do a lot of talking. I have a feeling.
I hope so.
We have a round table later on tonight with
sweet.
It's on forensics.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's going to be great. Too bad you're not in town because you could have helped me.
I know.
You could have co-hosted with me.
I would have totally done that.
I know. So you know what I want to talk about today for our listeners?
The snow.
No. Well, I want to talk about your being a country bumpkin or whatever you said you were from the Boondocks. And I want to talk about Lighthearted a little bit more. I want to talk about... also, your experiences on just being on the floor at Chicago Midwinter.
Sure.
And other conferences and how it compares.
Sure.
And I want to talk about anything else you want to talk about.
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
Yes. That encompasses a lot.
A lot.
Yes.
So tell me about the whole country bumpkin thing.
Okay.
And your experiences in the big city.
Yeah. It's like one of those kids' books, I feel like.
Where you came to the big city to be a star? To be
isn't there like Country Mouse, City Mouse, or something like that?
Mike?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a kid's book. Oh my gosh, I thought you had kids.
Oh, jeez. No, we do. I mean, he has 4 and a half, 3, so
right.
We just don't like him that much.
Okay, so you don't read books to them.
I don't even understand what you're talking about right now. Is that a thing parents
a book?
do?
It's something that has writing in it, and you open it, and you
pages.
You say
the only
the
thing
words.
I remember is textbooks.
Yeah, pretty much, honestly, that's the sad part about our children's
or research.
Lives. It's all textbooks is all we read.
Oh my god!
And then we sang songs to them.
Right.
We both.
Yeah.
But we didn't read the words.
More of a singer than a.
So, Mike, tell us, give us an example of the songs that you sang.
Oh, like ABCs.
No, I mean like sing it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna sing, but like
It was like
you know,
ABC 1, 2, 3, like the Jackson.
No,
5
and there's
or
actually there's actually my kids. There's a song that I learned a long time ago that I sing to them. It's always their favorite. It's kind of
ABCs?
special. No, it's more
Happy
than
Birthday?
ABCs. It's called Moon, Moon, Moon. It's really nice.
Moon, moon, moon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Never heard of it.
Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. I don't remember the words.
Yeah.
What about that one spaghetti song?
I don't sing
On
them the
top of
spaghetti
spaghetti?
song.
What's that? What's the one I'm thinking of though?
On top of spaghetti? The meatball?
On top of Old Smoky.
No, it's on top of spaghetti.
There is
all
a
covered
on
with cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
There
Thank
was
you.
a poor meatball or something like that. I don't know.
and somebody sneezed.
That's not
Something
the one.
Yeah,
What's the other one I'm thinking of?
I can't remember, but
It
yeah,
rhymes, right?
Yeah, but it's the same from the same people.
Victor Vito.
Yeah, Victor Vito,
Do you know Victor Vito?
No.
Yeah,
And
so that's how we feel
Freddie-
about when you ask us about stupid
Freddie
books.
Vasco, or something like that.
Don't
Sorry.
drop my mic, please.
I'll stop talking about books. Jeez.
Okay, anyway, so you're a country mouse.
I'm a country mouse, and I'm in the city, so now I'm a city mouse. Not really. I am a country mouse displaced into the city.
How do you feel about that? Tell us your feelings.
Okay, well, I love the experience. It's been very, very fun.
Sorry, time out. Is this your first time in the city? Ever?
No. So I've been into Chicago. I think this is my second time in Chicago. Although I did go to visit the Mormon temple back when
Where?
I was like
In
14.
Chicago?
Yeah. And I went again when I was 16. I was in concert choir.
Ooh.
I think they just needed extra people in the class, so they just
Sure.
said, here, let's put her in there because I can't sing. It's horrible.
But
But
I test that sometime.
Is that
but
why
I
we-
went to Chicago
Is that why we read?
for what's that?
Is that why we read instead of
Yeah,
sing?
exactly.
Yeah.
See, but I came here for a concert, and I got to walk down. I guess it was Michigan Avenue. I don't remember. But Andrew, I don't know if you're as old as I am.
I'm older.
No, you're not.
I'm 44. How old are you?
You're not 44.
I am.
Is he 44?
Don't look at him. He's just my manager.
I think you're full of poo.
How old are you?
37.
Oh, yeah. I'm way older than you then.
Oh yeah, the 80s.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
Okay, so back
I'm like
to
7
the point.
years older than you.
I would have never guessed it.
I'm
So there
33,
you go.
but thanks.
You're such a liar.
How did you believe me?
I was
How?
like, you look good for your age.
Thanks, buddy.
Now you say 33, and you still look good
and
for
you're
your
like,
age.
yeah, not so much.
But now you've lost some
You're
credibility.
aging
with me.
poorly.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so back in the day, when I was in, about 16, so 21 years ago, the jelly shoes. Do you remember the jelly
I
shoes?
do remember the jelly shoes.
Okay, so I was in Chicago for concert choir. And I was walking down, I guess it was Michigan Avenue, I don't remember. And I went into the store, and it's the only thing I bought on my trip. And it was a pair of those jelly shoes. So anyway,
That's okay.
Yeah.
Is there more to that story?
Good story,
That's
yeah.
just like that's what you remember. Okay.
No.
That was
so
the point.
okay, so that was then,
yes,
and then since then, not
Never
really any
been-
city experience.
Chicago. St. Louis, because I live near there. But this
Is
is
that
different.
really a city
Like,
though? I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. No,
downtown, like where Busch Stadium is, that's city.
I take
It's
it all
city
back.
to me.
It's
city
city
to
adjacent. No, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding. Like, no, I like you guys all from that area.
Whatever. Anyway,
Yes, like when you're walking down like the street, you're like, oh, Nelly sings about this place.
no, that's like 270 and Natural Bridge Road, about to something, some mo. That's
don't really know.
that's a little bit north. It's more of a dangerous
Was that a rap?
area.
Was that a
What?
rap?
That was a piece of a rap.
Okay.
Can you say it how he would say it? Because I don't understand it when you say it your way.
I don't know. I'm about to some mo. I don't know. I can't rap. I can't sing.
And they
Leave me
still
alone.
had you inquire, huh?
Stop it!
good.
I told you they just grabbed me off the sidewalk and said, "Here,
Oh,
we need
that's
another
good.
person in the choir."
That's
So
good.
just so you know, the book is called A City Mouse and a Country Mouse, and it's
See?
an Aesop's fable.
Boom.
Oh, so what
it
was
is
the fable?
So
What was
it
the
is
moral of the
kind of
story?
reputable.
I don't even. I've never read it.
It's about
I just know what it's called.
the
Mike.
city mouse bringing his country mouse into the big city and showing him all about it. And
Boom. There you
Did the
go.
country mouse stick around, or did they go back home?
well, I have not read it.
I bet you
it's
he
an
ran
Aesop's
back home.
fable, so it's probably not that long. So I feel like there's got to be a Cliff Notes on it.
Yeah,
or
I'd
something
have
at
to
least.
find it.
He probably
but
got scared from the taxi drivers and went back home.
Are you
Is that-
scared by the taxi drivers in Chicago?
Let me tell you about them
Do
taxi
you Uber or
drivers.
taxi while you're here?
I taxied it because I'm with a couple other people, and there's, I don't know, they said to taxi.
Maybe this is a good time to say who those other people are.
Well, I mean, I'm here with Avid Dental Products.
Which we will talk
And,
about that in a little bit.
Yeah, we can. So we've got some people that work the booth with me, and so we all ride together or whatever, and they want to do a taxi, not an Uber, so I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I'm low maintenance, so whatever they want to do, I'm cool.
You're low maintenance.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
No, that's how I
very
agree
low
with
maintenance.
people. Like, yeah, okay. That's like, I
You're,
agree with
you're
you.
lying. You're lying to me right now.
So, when did you guys get in the city? When did you guys come to the big city?
Okay. So, my flight was
What flight number was it?
1529.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's
I
a
thought you
good
just
memory.
made that up. I don't know.
No,
if I'm
numbers. I'm like magician with numbers.
Okay.
Remembering stuff. Not like I can't
How many
add
fingers am I holding up right now?
half of one. You guys can guess which one.
That my pinky finger, obviously.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. So we flew in. I actually flew by myself on Thursday.
This is being recorded. It's just so funny to me. Oh my gosh.
I flew in on Thursday morning.
I love it. No, I love you so much. This is just so. This is like us. This is totally us, and like.
You like making fun of me. That's what
Finally,
you
the
like.
listeners get a chance of like to know what like it's really like to hang out with me. It's just a giggle fest.
So you
Sorry.
like totally business it up for the other people?
Yeah, I'm real with you.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Why can't we be real all the time with people? Tell me that, Andrew.
Do you want to finish your
Yeah.
country mouse story first
So I have
before I
ADD
tell you about?
too. So okay, so first of all, I've never parked my car at the airport and left it like overnight. You know, the long-term parking
Right.
or whatever. Never
Yes.
done that before. So I'm like driving to the airport, and somebody has always dropped me off at the terminal where it says I flew Southwest. So they would look for the sign that says Southwest and drop me off, and I scamper off to the airplane. You know, the big
Like
thing
country
that
mice
flies.
do. They
Yeah, so
scamper.
did you hear the word scamper?
Yes.
I was just going to say the same
Yes,
thing.
exactly. So I scampered off to the.
Don't be shy, Mike. Just jump on in here.
So, but this time was different. It was a little bit higher stress for me. So I'm running a little bit later than I wanted to be. So I parked in $23 a day parking. Yeah. And then I run off to my plane, which I was like 20 minutes early, so I was fine. But you never know.
Sure.
You know, it's an airport.
Yes.
People have to do things at the airport that take more time. And anyway, so.
Mike has a story about that.
Uh-oh.
Just stupid people. He got mad. Also,
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry, it's not as good as your country
I
mouse
don't
story
like
though.
dumb people. So anyway, I get there. I'm fine. I get on the plane, and we basically go up and then down because it's only it was a 52-minute flight. So I feel like I probably could have driven that, but it's like 6 hours drive. So it's not
nice,
comparable.
though. Yeah. No, I hear
I'm
ya.
like, what a waste of like however much it costs. I mean, I didn't
That would
pay
be
for it, but
amazing
anyway.
to only have a 52-minute flight.
Yeah, it was
It's
awesome.
like Seattle to Portland kind of thing.
Yeah.
I got to read like 16 pages of my book, and then I was there.
It takes you that long to read 16 pages.
Hey,
52 minutes.
hey, that's okay.
Well-
I would defend her on that one because it takes me that long.
Was
But-
it
but
also
wait.
Aesop's Fable? What?
I just had to get reader glasses. I'm getting old. So I didn't have my reader glasses with me, so it took me
So you're
time.
doing one of these, like, I know this is like an audio podcast, but like,
Right.
push it
yeah,
away,
push
pull
it
it
away,
back.
pull it forward, find the sweet spot, and then leave it there. And then the tray table comes down, and you like lose your spot. Anyway,
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm sorry.
so I land. The other guy from Avid is sitting there waiting for me, and we get into a taxi. And apparently, taxi drivers do not signal, do not follow lanes. They kind of just do whatever they want,
And they honk their horn a
and
lot.
they honk their horn a lot.
That's kind of like their blinker, is the horn. I'm passing you.
I don't know. He pointed with his middle finger up, and I don't know like what
That
he
means
was.
straight. They're going straight.
Right. Okay. So maybe that's what he was doing, but
Then depends on what window they hold it out of is which way
yeah,
they're
exactly.
going to.
Yeah. So I feel like maybe he was signaling because his turn signal was broken.
That's how they communicate
Right.
with each
Okay.
other.
So we're just zooming along, and I noticed that he's. I can tell he's trying to get over into the turning lane. But they're at a complete stop, like not
Sure.
too far ahead of us. But he's zooming along, jumps over, slams on his brakes. I'm like, oh, that's how they drive around
So like
here.
the stunt drivers in the movies.
Yes.
That's pretty much okay.
No
gotcha.
tire squealing though, so I guess it wasn't that
So
bad.
he's better
maybe
then.
I'm being exaggerating it or whatever. But anyway,
Yes.
so we get to the conference center here. Which it's huge. Like this conference is huge, and I've been to ADA. It's not as big. Midwest conference it's at UMKC in Kansas City, so it's not huge or anything.
Sure.
So this one has like rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows and rows of. It's like a cornfield.
Yes, it is.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And you
little
can get
maze in it.
lost.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. Like
Or you can just read
children
the
in the corn or
numbers and
something. Well, yeah,
stand
the numbers
direction.
are up.
Yeah. You do
Yeah,
that.
above. So
There's
I
over
mean,
600, by the way. 600 exhibitors.
numbers.
Exhibitors. People. I mean, in the whole world, there's only 600 numbers. Maybe just a skosh more than that. But once you get to like 675, there's no number after that exists.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Kind
what's
of-
1,000?
I don't.
Is that
So
not
like
a number?
Like letters
Is
or
that
something? There's just a different term for it.
Right.
Once you get past
Right.
6.
So okay, so I'm here, and we're working the booth and getting to see a whole lot of lighthearted people, which is awesome.
Yes.
And so we go to dinner at Giordano's, which was amazing. The wait was more than I would have liked to wait because I'm an eater. Like you give me food and I'm going to eat it, and then when I'm hungry, I'm going to want food. You know,
It's registered. Yeah, I think.
is that pretty normal?
How
Okay.
long's the wait for a restaurant where you're from?
Not an
Like
hour
you just
and
like
20
walk
minutes.
in and you eat, or you?
No. Like there's a wait, but this was an hour and 20 minutes when they told us it was going to be an hour.
There was no drive-through at Giordano's, right?
Not that I saw.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Otherwise, you better turn your engine off and wait, right?
Maybe.
Okay. So the food was amazing, so I guess it's kind of worth the wait. The crust was like perfect, and then they pile on like 4 pounds of
Pizza.
cheese.
Right? We're talking about pizza?
Yeah.
Okay.
Giordano's. Oh, pizza. It's like this super deep dish stuff with the sauce on top. I'm like, who does that? Who puts the sauce on top? But it was amazing. It was really
You
good.
should put sauce on top. It's smart.
We don't do that at home in the country. In St.
Do you just have
Louis.
pizza out there?
Yes. It
Is
was
it made out of
invented in the
cauliflower?
country. No, I'm just kidding.
Cauliflower pizza.
Oh, no, but I've heard those are
I
good.
heard
It
That's
actually
good.
is very
Yeah.
good.
So you might
I've
say-
had it.
You've had-
Yeah, we
oh,
make
wow.
cauliflower crust pizza. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it actually
Awesome.
is.
I
do
do want to
like
try
that
it
stuff.
someday. So,
Yeah.
next podcast, make some pizza and stuff.
Should we like record as we're making the pizza?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That would be hilarious.
Can I stop your story for just a few minutes?
Sure, go ahead.
Because I want to talk about podcasting a little bit because you said that you're going to start a podcast a long time ago.
I think I said I was going to think about it.
Do you want me to find what you said?
No.
Because you've come to me like 3 different times and said,
I
okay, I'm
know.
thinking about it. I'm like,
I
okay, well, I have
know.
extra equipment. I'll send it to you if you're really going to do it. But if you're not going to do it, I want to use the equipment.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, I'll get back to you. And you never did.
I have commitment
And then we started
issues.
talking about, apparently, it sounds like it.
Okay.
But, okay, let's brainstorm right now of what your podcast would look like.
It would look like this.
No, it better be better than this. This is one of our worst episodes.
Am I
so
screwing this
far.
up totally?
No, I'm screwing
Should
it
we
up.
stop and start over?
No, because normally it's professional, and like Michelle helps keep us on track, and
No.
I'm just not. And that's the thing. So
I don't do professional.
let me tell you my thoughts on you. Let me tell you about you.
Let me tell me about me.
And then
Are you going to use your professional opinion or your personal opinion?
this will be a little of both because we're friends. I feel like I can be honest with you.
I am completely not offended by people critiquing me I actually, and this
Good.
is for real. I'm being for real here. When people tell me something about myself, and it could be positive, could be negative, I take the positive. I'm like, oh, thank you very much for the compliment. For the
Right.
negative, I'm like, how much of what they're saying is true, and how much of that do I need to work on about
Sure.
myself? So
Okay.
tell me about me.
Tell me how to fix you. No. Okay.
Yeah.
So, no.
This is a psychology.
So this is actually an
counseling
intervention.
session.
By the way, Mike and I are intervening.
You got me under here, false pretenses.
False
here.
pretenses. No, okay. So this is what I think. And we'll probably get some hate mail from this, but that's okay. This is what I
Death
think.
threats?
I think you are awesome,
Why, thank you.
which is true. I think that you have a unique ability to get things out of people that not a lot of people can do. I think you have a great radio
like
voice.
money.
Money or just friendship,
Right.
all that kind of bull
Oh,
crap.
yeah.
Just the community of Lighthearted is very close knit, right? And
Yes.
part of it is the management of it, kicking certain people out, which
Yes.
not in a bad way, not like like
Right.
you're disruptive or whatever, but just like, hey, you're not active. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but like you and I have talked about that before. It's like, hey, if you're not
Right.
active in the community, you don't need to be a part of this community,
Right.
which is kind of, and maybe I'm being a little bit too blunt on that. But I like that because the whole idea about community is helping each other and working towards each other.
Right.
And
yes.
while, maybe Mike's not as active as he should be.
Mike,
the
you're getting
community.
Das Boot.
Yeah. So you better wisen up.
All right.
there,
Well, I was just going to make
buddy.
a really nice compliment, but I think I'll keep that to myself.
Oh.
I'm getting the boot.
Whoa.
So
No, no, Mike did tell me yesterday, or no, I think it was the day before yesterday.
Thursday. Yeah.
Thursday night. He was like, I'm not like commenting much, but I'm getting there. I'm getting warmed up to it. So that's fine.
We need to baby
I'm
step
cool
him
with
in.
that.
Yeah.
I did make a comment the other day, and it had the most likes. So
Of all the
What?
comments?
of all the comments,
We got superstar.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know.
Superstar.
I'm a little bit afraid he's going to kind of eclipse me a little bit. And I just like,
not even close.
buddy.
Mike is the new
This is my thing.
awesome guy,
No.
the guy hygienist.
Well, we can talk about Guy Genesis too a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe later
Yeah.
on. Gosh, it's going to be a long podcast. How much time do you have?
My flight leaves at 6:30.
Okay, this might be a long one, listeners.
You're gonna have
you
to
can't break
edit
this
some
one
stuff.
out into a couple different listens.
But I was going to say, though, seriously, though, is
Yes.
that in just the limited time that I've been on it, there just seems like there's just a lot of, with the being anonymous, being able to
Yes.
post anonymously.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things that the people on that Facebook page love the most, and they respect that, and that you're willing to defend them. And that's just, at least that's the part that I've gotten out of it the most, is that you're willing to support them in whatever capacity it is, whether they want to be anonymous, whether they want to tell you their life story or whatever, and that
Yes.
no matter which way it is, they're still going to get their message out, but
Yeah.
necessarily don't have to have the negative repercussions if there are any.
Right. And typically, what's come of the group is a very, very supportive system.
right.
And even if you don't agree with something that they post, we have a rule. Like if you're not productive in some way, to the original post, then just scroll on.
Yeah.
You're an adult. Ignore and walk away.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
I like how you're teaching adults how to be adults, too. That's very nice.
I do what I can. It's
Yeah.
a big, big,
It
big
is so
job.
hard. It's so hard. I don't know. It's just great. And getting back to the podcast part of it, it's okay.
Sure.
So now you have this community.
Yes.
And this is where they won't like what I have to say. But I think that you need to use that community. As long as you're honest with them and say, hey, I'm going to be using stuff from here. I won't name names. I won't do this. But I think that there's a
sure.
lot of experiences that you could expound upon and bring on guests, bring on members of that community.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously you're going to be the central host, but maybe you can get a co-host, Mike.
Yeah,
And
I need somebody to
You do.
bounce things off of, because I think it's a lot more fun that way. I like the
It
playful
is.
banter back
Yeah.
and forth. Yeah.
And also you just have different opinions and different ideas. And like while I'm talking, you're thinking about something, and Mike's
Yes.
thinking about what he wants to say.
Right.
And then you guys will both put something in your back pocket for a little bit, and then you bring it up when it's relevant. And you can, I don't know. It's just there's such a when you look at all the really successful dental podcasts out there, there's always two hosts. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, there are some that are good about talking to themselves in a microphone. I tried it one time and it killed me.
Well, yeah, because you have to fill all that space with your own thoughts and voice, and
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be
Yeah.
able to do that.
No.
I mean, I do talk a lot, but...
And I think finding somebody that has, different opinions or different ideas or anything, or even practicing in, like, a different state, like, there's just so many differences between, hygiene in general between the different places. And so having those different experiences gives a whole lot more to it than just, oh, well, my state only does this. It's hard. Like, if they only do traditional hygiene, there's only so much that you can talk about,
Right.
and
Yes.
things like that. And so it's just kind of nice having that huge difference of opinion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot. And so thinking about the different types of co-hosts that you can have, sorry I'm making your podcast for you, but this is what's going to happen.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a guy.
Should I be taking notes right now?
No, we're recording it. You can just listen to this whenever you want. I don't think it should be a guy hygienist. And I know
Guys
there's
are gross.
I know.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
Don't tell my husband I said that, though.
No, do you know, being at a dental conference, I would never encourage this, but if you just stand in the bathroom, like where they wash their hands, and watch how many times they just like put their hands
Guys?
quickly. Yeah, they're gross.
Oh.
Put their hands quickly into the water, and then they use like a little paper towel, like
Yeah,
rag.
like
I'm
the-
like,
the towel's
you just-
gonna wipe all the
you
germs
just
off.
peed all over, and then you touch this handle of paper towels, and then, that's why I hate those ones that you have to go like the lever action like paper towel
Yeah.
things.
I use
like
my
the electronic
my
ones.
wrist.
I can't even do that. I'm like, I'll just have my hands sopping wet, walking out, just like doing one of those. So I don't think it should be a guy. Guys are gross, yes, but I also don't think that there are enough guys that see things the way that you'll see them. And having interacted a lot with the lighthearted community, there's a lot of really great potential out there that maybe they might not be your permanent co-host, but like they'd be great for multiple episode co-hosts.
Right, yeah.
And so, I think it's just the community, the dental community for one, the dental podcasting community is missing a fun, crazy, energetic, maybe a little bit irreverent kind of podcast. It needs that. And I think that what you could do, again, this is just totally me, I think that you'd transcend dentistry a little bit with your podcast, because it'll be Carrie Ebbetson, she does one that's for consumers
Right.
of dentistry and for dental professionals.
Yeah.
And that does kind of transcend it too, but it's not the same.
Right.
I think that any Joe Schmo should listen to you and they will laugh. And yeah, it's going to be about dentistry. It's going to be about the struggles or whatever ridiculousness goes on.
It's
But it's bigger. It's bigger than dentistry.
definitely because, and this is what I say about the group a lot, is we all come home at the end of the day, we let our hair down. Yes.
Ish. Yeah.
And we kick back and we want to have some fun, to relax, have a glass of wine or milk or Rockstar, I mean.
Brought to you by Rockstar Recovery. Energy plus hydration for only 10 calories.
But, I mean, life is too short.
That was good.
You're ridiculous.
That was pretty
Quick
good,
plug.
right?
Life is too
I
short.
want them to sponsor me.
Oh, my God. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, you probably drink enough of it. I've never
I don't
had
think that has to do with anything with the sponsorship. I don't think you actually have to use the product for them to sponsor it.
Right. But
But
you
they do.
would.
I
No,
totally
so
would.
you need to, buy in on their stock.
That would be
and
more
stuff.
like buying stock, yeah.
Right, exactly, yeah.
You probably
back
could
to
support
my-
your own stock.
Back to my point,
Sorry.
brought to you by ADD.
Seriously. Buy Ritalin.
We all need that opportunity to just shed the professionalism, shed the stress from the day, and I think this is the group to do it.
Yeah.
I don't
absolutely.
think I found any other group out there that's as successful as mine has been that allows you to do that without getting catty, without somebody chastising you for using gums instead of gingiva.
Sure.
All that ridiculousness
Sure,
that
sure,
comes
sure.
along with being professional. That's why I label it's not a professional group. It's for fun.
Exactly.
I say place your burdens with us. We'll all support you. We'll talk you through. I mean, all the freaking posts, like it goes from divorce to what shampoo do you use? I mean, it's just
So
huge.
should you get a gigolo or whatever?
yeah.
Wasn't there that one? It was anonymous, though.
And the thing
a
about
funny one.
anonymous posts is I will post whatever they want me to post as long as it follows the guidelines. No political stuff, no heated topics, that
Sure,
sort of thing.
Sure.
So the thing about me is I have a horrible memory. So if somebody comes to me 2 days later and says, "Hey, can you update on my anonymous post?" I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't
Yeah.
even remember what you're talking about." Or if somebody goes, "Who was that posted?" Of course, I don't tell them. I'm
Sure.
very, very strict about anonymous means anonymous. The other admin team members, they don't even know who posted anonymous posts.
Right.
So it's one of those things like the trust is coveted. You don't want to lose trust. And so that's basically why I let people do that, and I work for them.
Right.
I like to say I'm a
free.
service leader or leader service person, or I don't know, whatever you say. It's from some book. I don't remember. Anyway, those books again.
Ugh.
So how would
The
that?
servant leader.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess.
I think that's
right.
the
Is that
term,
right?
servant leader.
It's
That's
some book, right?
You're right. It is. I think I'm supposed to read that one.
Yeah.
So what would you envision though for your podcast? Like, how would you take that information or take those experiences or take the lightheartedness, and what would it look like for you?
Well, the thing about me is I love to have fun. I'm all about, letting your hair down, goofing off, that sort of thing. But I also have very, I think they're good, opinions about things. I'm on the legislative council for my state. I'm on the state board and the local board of trustees for, I'm vice president now of my local association. So I'm very involved. And I take it seriously to a certain extent. I like talking about things that could be debatable or very important topics. So it'd probably be a good mix of important stuff mixed in with jokes and, because I do like to have fun.
Yes.
So it would be, very well-rounded. I guess not a stand-up comedian, but a little mix
Sure.
of
And I think that's what we're missing. So hurry up and get on that, would you?
Oh, gosh. Send me the equipment. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, I'll
Would
let
that
you know.
really happen? Okay. That's the thing.
Okay, so the biggest reason I haven't done it yet is because my life, I've taken on so much. I'm one of those people that I don't want to let people down. So if they ask
Which you're
me
letting
to,
me down by not having a podcast. Just but you forgot that I asked you to do a
okay,
podcast
now I'm stressed
anyway.
out.
So.
Okay, I guess I'll do the podcast now.
Peer pressure.
He's
I
really
do-
good at that part, just in case you're wondering.
Oh,
Wait,
great.
peer
pressure.
pressuring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at
all
Mike.
the time.
He has Facebook now.
Oh my gosh,
Mike,
Well,
come to
it's
Chicago
really-
with me. Mike, you're gonna come to Underwood with me. Nah, I don't think I can do it. By the end, he's like, yeah, I think I'll probably come.
Oh my gosh,
It's subtle brainwashing / peer pressure.
right?
A
Which
little both.
we all need a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Call it encouragement.
Yeah, I'm just encouraging you, Mike.
See,
I want you to realize your full potential.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
No, he doesn't. Not at all.
So, I really want to. I think
Yeah.
it would be fun. Capital F fun. But it's one of those things when you're taking on a lot of responsibility, because I have to work,
Sure.
and then I took on the both state and local organization positions, and it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot to take on. So something's got to give. But believe
Do you want me to make
me,
you feel bad about yourself? I'll tell you my schedule if you really want.
Well,
I mean,
no,
it's
that's
all about
okay.
prioritizing.
I'm
buddy.
sure.
It's all about prioritizing. But
Well,
this
guess-
is what I think you need. I think you need a co-host that's
Yeah.
willing to drive and push you to do it. Which again is
Okay.
not me. Probably not Mike either because he's got a lot on his plate too.
So we
but
need to hold auditions. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, and honestly,
Kind of what it sounds like is he's willing to hold auditions for you.
with
It
you.
kind of sounds like he's going to do it with me. You're going to be my
No.
podcast.
The only reason why, honestly, there was a time in our podcast even too, which I don't know if we've ever actually addressed this on the show, but I was almost done with it.
Really?
And it wasn't because it was because I wasn't having fun, but it was because we were having so many issues with the audio quality that I was
Oh,
not
yeah.
happy with the end product.
Yeah.
And I felt like what we were giving to the listeners wasn't that good. I don't care about the content part about it. I mean, there are going to be times where it's just like this. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? This is just something that's not going to, like, not all listeners are going to like what we're doing right now.
Right, yeah.
But this is a conversation I wanted to have with you because I like you and because we're friends, and I want people to be able to have, like, a sneak peek into what we talk about behind all their backs,
Right.
basically, when we're talking about them.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel sometimes it's so clinical and so almost sterile, you know, the podcast regimen where
Right.
we have this segment, we have this segment, we have this segment, we have this segment. And I feel like you're the perfect person to do one that's not like that.
Yeah.
That would break that mold so hard. Anyways, but so I was almost done, and Michelle and I took a little bit of a break until
Yeah.
we rebranded everything. And once we rebranded, we have this now, and the audio quality is so much better now. And we have music, like Michelle like professionally did stuff for the music, and
I would just
we have
sing
transitions
in the
and
beginning.
stuff.
I did.
So or try rapping some Nelly.
Like, yes. Yeah, totally. I thought it was 50 Cent, but I think I have him wrong. So
Yeah, I think you did too. You probably did. It's all right. I mean, you're a country bumpkin now. You don't
Right.
listen to rap.
Well, I
at
don't
all
listen to
anyways.
country. So,
What do you listen to?
I don't know. Like alternative. I like.
I don't know what that means.
It's like
Okay, is it like 90s music?
no. Well, I mean, I do. I love Green Day. I love Bush. I love all Oasis. I love.
To me, that's
Not a
alternative.
surf. I mean,
why.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my jam.
I'm sorry, listeners. You shouldn't have to listen to me singing these. Mike's the singer over here. Mike and I were in choir.
We won
Yeah?
state when I was a senior.
Sweet.
We did?
We did. Dude, do you not remember
Was I
anything
there?
important? You were there.
There's only 2 of us in choir. 3. There's 3.
Remember? Yeah, it was 3 guys, 5, 6 girls. And we went to this conference and we sang and
No.
they like, the best small choir ever was the 8 people from Adna. And we went down and I got a trophy and I pointed at everybody and all the girls.
Because we were still
like,
up there and you were.
Yeah, and I walked down by myself because I was the only senior.
Oh wow.
Got the
I was a
awards for
freshman.
our whole team. You were a freshman.
I don't know. I've
Yeah.
had so many good accomplishments in my life that. I'm just kidding.
Your
I don't
choir
know.
thing
I
has
don't
been
know.
eclipsed.
Actually, actually, choir was awesome. I really liked choir a lot. Mm-hmm. I just don't really remember that for some reason,
It's weird what you retain.
which I usually have a pretty good memory. Not your freakish numbers
Yeah.
memory, but
Well, I mean, normally, like, it's not about the. Okay, so I remember numbers. Like, I remember old phone numbers from when I was a kid and stuff like that. But I don't remember.
373-8016.
That was our phone number.
When I was
Growing
a
up.
kid.
Yeah, so,
Sorry.
but when you.
619 was area code, California.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
go ahead.
So when I try to remember, like, it's funny because I'll look through old pictures of mine and I go, man, I don't remember doing this at all. Like, I don't remember taking this picture. I don't remember being there. I mean, so yeah, I'm kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Thanks.
What do you want to talk about now? Avid?
Sure, yeah, we can talk about Avid. So, quick story about how I met the guy, the CEO, inventor, owner of Avid Dental Products. So one day, I have 4 dogs, and I was, one of them got out, and I was frantically searching for her, Shelby.
Freaking
And-
Shelby. Come on.
Yeah, Shelby. Anyway, so as I was like running around, I was just walking slowly home, head held low, and then I just happened to see some guy. Like there's a big lake behind our house, and he was up on the ridge of the lake, and I was looking for my dog. So I walk over and I asked him, have you seen this dog or anything? And he's like, no, I haven't. And then I was like, so do you live here? And he's like, no, this is my mom's lake. And I was like, oh, cool. I live right over there. And he goes, oh, so you're my neighbor? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, we do the interact.
Can I interrupt?
Yes,
Sorry.
sure.
You knew I was going to interrupt. And that's why.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's his mom's lake?
Yes.
She owns the lake.
Like the land around it and including the lake and then a bunch of acreage back behind us.
Not a pond.
No, it's a 6-acre lake. We go fishing.
I didn't realize
take
you
a
could
little
own
boat
a
on-
lake for some
on it.
reason. Sorry,
Not
go
like
ahead.
a huge lake,
No, but still, that's a
enough
decent
to
size.
take a
6
little
acres,
boat
you
on.
said?
Yeah.
That's like as big as my property.
That's a pretty decent size.
Right, yeah. It's a
Giant
pretty,
pond.
good-sized lake.
Small lake. Giant pond. Go ahead. Sorry, continue on.
Okay. So he was like, oh, I'm so-and-so, and, we talked back and forth. His name's Chris Karen, and I was like, oh, I'm Sandy, nice to meet you, and I said, if you see my dog, let me know, and he goes, so what do you do? And I go, I'm a dental hygienist, and he goes, what? No way. And I was like, yes, and I'm looking at him like he's got two foreheads, two heads, whatever. Two eyes, like he's got 2 eyes, I mean.
And like a nose, a mouth.
Yeah, so weird. So he goes, I am the 3rd largest producer of Profi angles in the country. And I was like, where? And he goes, right across the street, I have my factory. And I was like, this is in a small town of 500 people. And I was like, oh, that is so weird.
Yeah.
So then we got to talking, and he had this prototype of this handpiece, hygiene handpiece. And I was like, oh, and he wanted me to try it out, like see what I thought. So I took it, and I was working at a perio office. So I took it in there and tried it on some people, and he gave me 2 prototypes. So I came back to him, and I was like, oh, I like this one better, but it's kind of heavy. I would, take the weight down a little bit, and then it didn't have any, like, grip points or anything on it. And I said, oh, I would probably put, like, grips here and grips here, blah, blah, blah. And so he actually, changed the prototype like that. And then, so he goes, well, thanks for your help. It's going to be a few years before we get to production, that sort of thing. You have to get approved by FDA and, all that, political stuff. So finally, it was about 4 years later, he called me and he said, hey, I want you to come take a look. So I went over there and I looked at these hand pieces, and it was awesome because the actual nose cone that the disposable Profi angle fits onto, it adjusts into like 360 different degrees. I mean, it's almost like on a ball joint. So it just goes.
Did that just happen?
I didn't see what it was. Was it a moped?
No, it was the guy on one of those little scooters. He just did like a little like.
Was he doing U's?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Or trying to fishtail, I think. I mean, it's on carpet, so I wasn't getting. Sorry, that was so. That happened like right in front of us. Why would he do that?
I guess he was trying.
It's like
to
he's
spy on us.
joyriding on his little thing.
I want to ride.
Sorry, I totally ruined your story. Continue on.
Nope, it's over now.
It was a good story.
Anyway, so this handpiece, it adjusts. It basically, and I thought of the tagline, it bends and twists for you.
Like 360 degrees, just like that guy did.
At the very moment.
He was trying to explain your point.
Right. Did you
visually?
Get it?
I do now. Listeners, I'm sorry you didn't get that, but...
Yeah, too bad we don't have cameras, too.
Are you going to do that for your podcast?
No. I'm going to be in my PJs getting stuff.
And you can't be...
No, because I'm going to be like drinking and acting crazy. No,
Michelle drinks.
So anyway, he had me take a look, and he said, "Use your little group, my lighthearted group, to find out what colors people like." And so we did a answer by liking in the comments, that kind of thing, and we figured out what the top colors people liked were, which is like teal, purple, hygiene color, purple, pink, and then we wanted a silver one for the hygienists out there.
Thank you.
Just in case they didn't like the pink, purple, or teal. But
Thank
teal
you.
is
Teal's
cool
okay.
too. Teal, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of my favorite colors. Ovarian cancer, got to represent. That's why I love teal so much.
Me too.
Anyway, thank you. So finally it was developed. Everything was ready.
What does his
to go.
shirt say?
It says Armageddon Services. Oh, it's
What is that?
They're the security guys.
So not the security.
They're expecting the Armageddon here.
Well, apparently, he's got the.
It's probably the name of the
jacket.
company.
No,
That is a terrible, terrible name
right?
for the company.
I saw that too.
The world is going to end at your conference.
But we're here. Don't worry.
But we're here to save you guys.
We're the Armageddon Services. We get it started.
Oh my gosh.
Or we start at the end. What? Tagline.
We start at the end.
We start at the end. So I thought of the Avid Fit handpieces tagline. It bends and twists for you because you don't have to bend your wrist. It does it for you.
That's good.
You're supposed to applaud. Gosh, it was
Yay.
amazing. Thanks. And then, over time, they took on new products and stuff like that. One thing, it's called the Orbiter. I thought it was pretty cool, but it was developed from a dentist in Missouri. To me, Missouri is St. Genevieve. Because that's, where
St. Genevieve, Canada?
No. Missouri. Like, I graduated high school from St. Genevieve.
Oh, it's a city? Or it's a high school?
No, it's not a city.
It's a town?
Yeah, it's a town. What's the difference, city or town?
One's bigger than the other?
What?
One's bigger than the other?
That would
a
be
city's
true.
big, and then a town's not?
The town is small. Yeah, so there's like 4,800 people in St. Genevieve, give or take. Anyway, so this orbiter, it's a guard for your cure light, because it's like super important that you protect your eyes when you cure sealants. Your dentist cures.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Sure.
Not to put down the product, but is that true? Because why haven't more dentists gone blind?
You would think they are. I'm trying to find that they did some study, and it says that. So the orbiter that it's called, it's that orange shield that you use on a curing light.
Right.
And it says even small glimpses of light from high-intensity curing lights may cause ocular damage, such as retinal burns, cataracts, and or advancement of macular degeneration. But you know what?
I don't want macular degeneration.
Maybe you just don't know about the dentists that have lost their eyesight and have cataracts and retinal damage.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Are there studies that talk about that?
I'm sure there are.
Because I feel like we've been hearing that for so long.
Right.
And my eyes are still okay.
Somebody was saying that the intensity of the lights have increased.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, it kind of makes sense because people are wanting less time to cure these things and, that sort of thing. And it's all about saving time. So I would not be surprised if it definitely got brighter and crazier and more damaging over time.
Tell me more about the orbiter design.
So,
it looks really cool, actually.
It is really cool.
You didn't see it when we were up there?
Yeah, I did. I was paying attention.
It is pretty cool.
So basically, it's one of those teardrop kind of shaped amber guards, but it's on ball bearings and it's weighted, so it always stays in the position to protect your eyes. Because normally, when you're curing like sealants or composites, you have to like turn different directions. Say you're doing the buccal and then the lingual of a composite, you have to turn the tip of the curing light, and the guard goes with it, so you have to turn it back.
Right.
And this thing, it stays upright exactly where you need it the whole time, like without having to adjust it. So it's a time saver.
Very nice.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clever.
Those seconds add up over time.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And that was Dr. Mace from Washington, Missouri, actually invented that.
From Washington, Missouri?
Yep.
So it's halfway cool.
I think Washington's small. I don't know. But anyway.
It's a good state to be from, I'll tell you that much.
Missouri?
Washington.
No, it's Missouri.
No, Washington.
You're on the edge.
I am on the edge.
We're in the heartland. You know why? Because we have heart.
We're on the fringe.
I've heard about you Washingtonians.
Washingtonians. Get
whatever.
it right. I'm almost an Oregonian. Because I'm like right on the border of Washington, Oregon. So.
The booth.
The booth.
Has been ridiculously busy. Which is fine.
And I stole you during a peak last day.
I'm not complaining one bit about that. Not one bit.
Well, thank you.
Because this is a heck of a lot more fun than standing on my feet. My feet hurt.
I'll edit that part out. You mean it was a lot more fun talking to people about the product than doing a silly little dental hygiene podcast?
Yeah, sure.
So, you know what else I want you to do?
What?
This is how we can work together.
Okay.
I want people to understand the importance of podcasts.
Sure.
And what a real benefit it is.
Okay.
Because they're not just silly. Like, this is kind of a silly one, but like a for realsies one. I mean, except for the Avid part.
Oh, thanks.
Except for like the real
Nothing
educational component.
Oh my gosh. Nothing I've said means anything.
And the fact that we
you.
need to learn how to read, apparently.
Right.
Like, those are the two muchy takeaways for this. You know what I mean, though? Like, I get frustrated because, and I apologize again to you for spamming your walls with our hygiene podcast stuff. It's not really spamming. It's like less than once a week, but still.
Oh, no.
You know what
I mean, I encourage people to, like the stuff that they do on the side, or, well, I mean, this is taking over your life, but I want people, I want my members to benefit from being in the group, not just, the funny, silly stuff, but,
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff that you post, some of it is important.
I would say a good 98% of what we post is like dang important.
Yeah,
My
I'm just
personal
busting your
stuff's
chops,
not
but-
as important. And it's like, hey, I didn't cut my hair. Look at this.
Right.
That stuff doesn't matter. I wanted to talk to you about your involvement with the association.
Okay.
Because you said you kind of like to debate. And
I like to be serious once in a while.
I want to know your honest opinions, good, bad, ugly,
right?
or indifferent, about the association and why people should join or why they should not join.
Well, for me, that's easy because I see the inner workings of what the association does for us as far as, the obvious stuff, which is on their website, CE, continuing education credits for free. And it has career sources, to look for a position somewhere. And then you get the Access magazine, that sort of thing. So those are the obvious things. But the things that people don't understand is that any state that allows general supervision, any state that allows local anesthetic for us to give injections to patients, any state that allows us to work without the dentist, which I said general supervision. But those types of things has to go through a legal legislation to make it to that point. And who did that for us? It was ADHA.
So, and I guess that's my kind of bone of contention.
Sure.
Because that's not how it happened for us.
What do you mean?
So when we just went to general supervision for local anesthetic. We've had local anesthetic for a long time, but we changed supervision.
Yeah.
It was the state level people that worked on it, the state people that, not the association. The association wasn't a part of it. It was our dental hygiene examining committee that brought it up, that wanted to get it changed, that worked on a collaboration committee with the dental board.
Right.
Dental board got it changed. Yes, it was absolutely supported through the association.
Right.
And yes, they have a strong voice, especially at the legislative level.
Okay.
But things like that can happen without the association. I guess that's kind of my only thing is I get a little bit upset when the association takes so much credit for all of these things.
Right.
When really state boards and that, the legislative process is different.
But what about the people that actually did it on the grassroots level? Are they not part of the association?
Well, when the association only represents what? In a very healthy state, less than 10% of the hygienists?
Yeah, which is sad. It is
what I mean?
sad.
So I have a hard time just being oh yeah, the association with this, a few people who do have a loud voice, though. They do have a really loud voice.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are the changers of everything. I don't agree with that. It was more or less one person's decision to really push hard and be really loud and be really vocal about it. And then, okay, now I'm going to grab a couple more people that are on this legislative level to go on this committee with me. And on the committee, we presented all the evidence behind it. And then we presented that evidence to the state board, and the state board changed it. But that's just one very isolated instance.
Yeah,
and it doesn't always happen like that. But I guess
how many other states went about it that way?
Well, that's what I don't know. But to get legislative work done, it's at the state level. It's usually the state boards. And so as I sit on, well, I don't sit on it, but as I go to the American Association of Dental Boards meetings, which is twice a year, and I hear the legislative process, and I'm on a steering committee with one of the testing agencies, and I hear the legislative process over and over and over again by all 30 to 50 states or whatever that are represented in these different places. I feel like the association, both dental, the ADA and the ADHA, are maybe taking a little bit more credit than they deserve in recent times. I think before, it was powerful. I think with all the membership falling off on both the organizations, it's not quite as powerful. And I feel like they're begging sometimes to get people to join.
Oh, absolutely. They are begging because the numbers are ridiculously low. But I think part of the whole legislative process and it being the state board and that sort of thing, part of that whole situation is the board going, who supports this? So if you have an organization that's, fairly large, larger than, well, I mean, could be larger, but that type of situation where they say, well, we have the ADHA backs it, or the, what do you call it, their WHDA, or...
well, it's WDHA now, because it used to be WSDHA,
yeah.
but yeah,
But
WDHA.
so these organizations back this. The dental board would look at it and go, oh, okay, so they support that, then... what's the reason to oppose it, that sort of thing. So in a roundabout way, maybe indirect way, the association does have something to do with it.
It's interesting.
It's just
No,
just a
no,
thought.
it's a solid point, because I feel like that's my argument is exactly what every regular hygienist that's not a part of the association,
Right.
and they might not know it to the same level I know it, but that's what they think. They don't understand.
And the other thing that goes along with this is when you go to the ADHA and you say you're barking up the wrong tree, you're not looking at the topics that really affect the hygienists of these days, like
Right.
workplace issues. That's huge.
Right.
And ADHA, sometimes they don't have the authority to do things, but they could present facts. They could show a little bit more of encouragement for their members, or encouragement to change certain situations. But if they do have the power to do something like that, it's basically you need the membership to back it. It takes money. I mean, obviously we know this.
Right.
We know this. And there's power in numbers, which we know this. I lost my train of thought.
No, it's
it
fine.
was a really, really good thought,
I'm sure it was
too.
very profound.
Yeah.
My
it
thing
was.
is, like, I guess also kind of to a stupid level on my thing is, I guess I look at a Facebook group of dental hygienists that has 10,000, 15, 12,000, however many thousands of people in
Right.
it. And I'm like, okay, what a great resource that is. But then you look at how many likes did the ADHA page get? Not very much.
Right.
So when you're talking about if you have something that you want to get pushed through or whatever, and you go to them and you're like, well, I think that this is an important component. Why, I guess, aren't they working more towards my level of engagement? Like, I almost feel like I get these little email reminders
Right.
or I'll get a postcard, and I don't care about either one of those things.
Well, what do you want?
Change.
Okay,
You know what I
well,
want,
you have
honestly?
to start somewhere.
Okay, so this has nothing to do with,
Okay.
well, it sort of has something to do with ADHA.
Okay.
So over the years, you mentioned earlier that some states have general supervision. Some people have zero ability to do local anesthetic.
Right.
It's so vastly different. And we all complain, blah, blah. How come there's not portability? How come I can't go to Washington and work?
Right.
Well, they don't accept my state, or they don't accept my board
Right.
exam. They don't accept this. They don't accept that. So I guess my frustration is, why hasn't the ADHA, or why are they not working on towards making everyone at the same level?
How do you know they're not, first of all?
I mean, because it's been 60 years and things are still vastly different.
Yeah, but maybe it wasn't such of an issue before. Maybe it's only come up as an issue, which, more of an issue lately versus 60 years ago. I mean, when you
Well, I think that they see it now because of social media more than they've ever seen it before. But I bet
that could go for anything.
people move right, but people moving around from different states because the military's been around for however long now, and we're not.
I think there's different
Still moving
stipulations
people.
for military personnel, though.
What do you mean?
Like, it's easier for them to get moved from state to state as long as they're on the military base.
Yeah, but they can't. Oh, yeah, if they're employed by the military.
Right. Yes, that's what I mean.
Right, but so Washington has
You
a lot
mean
of
more
military.
like spouses?
Yeah, spouses.
That sort of
Or,
thing?
yeah,
Yeah,
of
they're up
working,
a creek.
exactly, and that's
Yeah.
not new. That's not a
Right,
new issue of
right.
the last 60 years. It's been like that for a while. It's just that now that people have a voice about it,
Right.
saying, "Hey, we need to be able to do this. Why is it so different? Why is
Mm-hmm.
it different?" And they've been talking about these in these meetings for so long, but why haven't they changed that? And I know you're not the person to be talking to about this, but this is kind of the frustrations that I have.
Opinions.
Yeah, I want to hear your opinions on it, but I know you're not the voice of ADHA saying this is why we don't do it, or this is why
Well,
we're doing it.
I think part of the reason is that some of the things aren't standardized within the schools. themselves, hygiene schools. So how are you supposed to standardize the country if the schools aren't standardized?
Okay, so let's talk about that, 'cause we just had a faculty roundtable. We talked about that.
Okay.
And I asked the question, like, doesn't it bother you guys that you guys aren't all the same? And they said no. They said no, right?
I don't think they said that it didn't bother them. They just found that it was interesting that there are so many different levels of it.
Yeah, and so so CODA goes through and they accreditate all these different schools. Why doesn't ADHA pressure CODA to make sure everyone's up to a certain standard? Well, the reason why is because not every state needs them to be at that certain standard.
Right.
Well, then every state can, it's just this stupid circle.
Yeah.
But where's it going to start?
But it seems to me, though, like, I mean, even like the basis of hygiene, like, is, okay, cleaning teeth, SRPs, whatever
Right.
it is. So why can't at least the hygiene portion be the same between all the states? Sure, certain states can't do local anesthesia and restorative. That can't be part of the curriculum, but why can't it be standardized for just, like, hygiene?
Well,
Well,
that's a problem.
I'm
though.
sure a lot of it has to do with state laws themselves.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, dang Constitution, states can make their own laws about
Right.
these sort of things. So
Right.
it's up to the state associations, that sort of thing, to fight for the change that they want to see. And then on top of that, you can fight all you want, but that doesn't make it happen. So maybe part of the issue is because the states are different. They have different laws.
That is the issue. That's absolutely the issue.
So what are you going to do about it?
So, I mean, you want me to solve this for you? Because I'll freaking
like
solve
right
this
now.
for you. So my problem is, okay, so let's say that my state, I'm a really passionate hygienist. I'm in Texas is the one I always pick on. I'm sorry, Texas. I always pick on you guys, but you guys are getting shafted down there.
They need to get their ish together.
No, the ADA is really strong there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And the problem that I have, and this is going to piss off a lot of Texans, because there's a lot of smart people in Texas. A lot of, like some of our best friends come from Texas, and they're very smart and very educated people.
Uh-huh.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that you're not educated. I'm saying you don't have the credentialing, or the education system is so low compared to a lot of other states that if I wanted something to change, I would say I'm going to try and get all my schools not to teach the local anesthesia part. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm going to start getting them to be harder to get into. I'm going to elevate the type of student that we're accepting by saying our prerequisites are going to be X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And yes, these other states or whatever only ask for X and Y, but we're going to add Z to it. We're going to elevate that. We're going to be harder to get into. They're not going to see a decline in people applying. That's not what's going to happen.
Right.
But they need to finish those prerequisites first. And then when they're coming in, they're going to have a more educated background going into, like when we talk about biofilm,
Yeah.
it's not the stupid film on your teeth. It's
Right.
so much more complex than that.
Right.
And if people aren't getting that because they didn't take micro
Right.
before, then they're, you know what I mean? I just feel like there's
So
a disconnect.
okay, so for example, in St. Louis, I went to St. Louis Community College at Forest Park. The program's been there since the 70s, and we had to take microbiology, anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, and those types of things before we could even get on the waiting list. So there was actually a private school for dental hygiene. They had a dental hygiene program that just shut down. And from what I understand, they didn't have any prerequisites. So obviously, they were strictly for profit. They didn't really care about the profession itself.
Right.
And they didn't care about their student, the level of professionalism or the level of education prior to getting into the program. So, I mean, I see what you're saying there, that they could at least standardize the entrance.
But how did that school open? CODA had to accredit them.
Yes.
That's the problem that I'm having. So I guess going back to that school, first of all, let's not let those schools open up if they're not teaching the same levels and standards. We should have a standard that ADHA is pressuring all of us to, as prereqs, have.
Right.
I don't know if they pressure CODA or what. I don't know how that part works. I'm not on that end. But if I was Texas and I wanted to have those extra things, I would elevate my game a little bit with all of my entrance, and then the actual programs would be a little bit more robust. And sure, it's going to be hard. Sure, you have to change things. Sure, you have to do all of those things. Yes, that's hard. But then you go back and what you said earlier, showing the dentist, like, hey, I have this. I'm qualified now.
Right.
Let us do local anesthesia. Now, based on the evidence from every other state, that then the ADHA or the TDHA could then help prove with all the facts and support and the evidence.
Right.
Now we have a body of people that are able to do it, not just that they're there.
So what did you have to do to get into your program?
Oh, how many classes did we have? We had a lab class for every one of, so at least 6 lab classes.
Well, and ours are even expanded the same that you had said, but even like chemistries.
So we had a couple different chemistries, organic and organic. I have a list in my PowerPoint.
Right. Yeah.
But
We had to take chemistry too.
It's like, I think there's like 13 or 16 prereqs. It's a lot.
To get on. Okay.
And we don't do waiting list stuff like you guys do.
Okay. So that's where I had to do those classes just to get on the waiting list. But the program consisted of sociology, English classes.
Okay, hold on. So you're talking about the dental hygiene program consisted of English?
Strictly dental hygiene program, but you had to have all that finished to graduate.
See, and that was all our prereqs.
Correct.
Sociology, psychology, English, writing, all
Right.
of that was our prereqs.
We could have done it while we were doing dental hygiene. Not that you would want to, but I had already done it because I went to another university.
So were those parts like night classes then? Like how?
I don't know.
When
I don't know how people did that.
When would they have fit all that in? Because like our program was 8 to 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
ours was all day
how
long.
do you do that?
Well, for example, like I said, microbiology was a prereq, but it wasn't. You had to have it by a certain point in the hygiene program. I did a 3-week crash course microbiology. I mean, I did great, but you know,
Of course. Yes, you know,
but it's
insanely,
like super. I was 8 hours a day for 3 weeks. I was learning microbiology,
Sure.
and that sort of thing. But that was the only thing that I didn't have, and I wish I brought all my prereqs with the everything else that you have to have for the program. Most people already just had it done already.
Yeah.
But ours is a 2-year program, but I graduated with 120 credit hours.
We did
So it's
119.
like-
Correct. Yeah, 119.
Yeah.
We did
for us.
119 with just hygiene stuff.
Right,
And then
yeah.
before that's another 100 and whatever you have to have. How many is it for your AA? 120?
This is an AA program.
So what isn't there like a minimum threat, or is it 90? I think it might be 90 to get at least in Washington, it's like
Yeah, I
90
don't
to
have
get a
a
2-year degree or
bachelor's,
something.
To
though.
do a
like that.
2-year
Like,
degree.
This is an associate's program.
Same with us. It was an
Yeah.
associate's program too.
What the heck?
That's another thing. That's a whole other bone of contention I have.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Basically, we need one more class. I think we can get a bachelor's in dental hygiene.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So they have a degree completion program through our school.
Yeah, and they have one
That's so weird.
like at one of the colleges across the state. But to me, like because of where I work and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like a financial benefit. So to invest money in that, and I know it's all about education. And I love being in classes and learning and that sort of thing.
It's about applicable education.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's not about
so
education,
if it doesn't financially benefit me, then it's not a priority right now.
Right. I understand that.
So yeah, I
And
could
I
do
agree
the
with that.
capstone. Well, thank you. I mean, I could do that. Well, there's some people that, it's like education. You're never wasting your money on education, which I don't disagree, but you have to base that off of priorities, financial,
Sure.
responsibility, that sort of thing.
Of course.
But anyway,
Financial responsibility, all that crap.
we're adults now, Andrew.
I don't like it. I don't want to be. It's been over an hour, by the way.
It's been fun.
Hour and 7 minutes and 53 seconds.
Can I tell you a story?
You can tell me whatever you want. We're not done if you don't want to be done. Like this particular episode is
Yes.
whatever you want it to be.
It's
Exactly.
a freestanding awesomeness.
They have this thing called like Hostfuls or something like that with the Nerdist podcast, and they just get people and they just like chit chat. Hey, what's up? What's new with you? Let's talk about this. And it's just like
That's cool.
I love it. I love it so much.
I don't like guidelines. I don't like structure. I mean, I do. Never mind. Forget that. I do like it, but
I'm not editing that part out.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't edit that part out. Might need that for later.
And I'll need you to have some semblance of structure for your podcast.
right. Yeah. So I'll like write stuff down or something.
Can I be in like the credits of your podcast?
The credits. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
like,
is
I wanna help you
dedicated.
produce
I'll
it.
dedicate it to you. How about that?
Okay.
Every
I love it.
every episode is dedicated
Every
to
episode.
Andrew.
How about just like the first one? Because
No, all
that
of
gets
them.
embarrassing.
All of
well,
them.
I do
I
have
like
one
it.
question. Kind of, you guys were talking about kind of like high
Oh
level.
yeah, Mike's over here.
Yeah, I am.
Hi, Mike.
I am part of the
I
podcast.
know it's
just in
weird 'cause
case
he's
you're
sitting
wondering.
to my left instead of like
Being
in
a
front
part of it. I know, like he
Yeah.
should be helping
I feel
interview.
like I need to.
Hey, you
Hi,
know what this
Mike.
is like? I don't know if you've ever seen Conan O'Brien.
Yes.
Conan, and then Andy Richter over here, way off to the side of the stage.
Yeah.
Freaking. But hey, Andy's funnier. Don't worry.
Okay, but I did have a question, and then you kind of just went off on a tangent there.
Have you listened to the podcast ever?
It makes it hard for me to ask my question.
Ask your tangent.
So you guys were talking a lot of like high level, like state level type stuff. Did you mentioned that you were part of like your local component stuff
VP
as well? So I guess
VP.
so that's kind of where I'm getting into is some of the local stuff and the component. And one of the things that I'm finding is even like the local components are having trouble supporting themselves.
Right.
And so maybe I guess more wise, like what my question is, what are you doing? How is your local area doing? I think we have 9 districts or something like that in Washington. How do you not know? And like 3 of them,
would I know?
3 of them don't even have like active components,
right?
And so they're asking, these committees. Like I'm on a committee to go to another area and help them start it. And how do you find those people? I mean, what do you do when it's struggling so bad at the local level? Because obviously the local is going to support the state. The state's going to support the United States. The whole association. And so, we're struggling just in Washington at the basic level.
I think part of it has a lot to do with people's commitment to the profession. There's different levels of commitment, meaning there's some people that just want to get their degree and they want to work. So they don't want to have all the extra stuff that goes along with, being a dental hygienist. There are some people that want to have some sort of involvement. They think there needs to be change, but yet they don't have the right avenues to do that. Which, I believe the local component is a great avenue and you need to take advantage of it. But as far as like supporting yourself, we actually have the Greater St. Louis Dental Hygiene Association has one of the largest ones in the state. And I don't know if it has something to do with location or what, but, making it to where the amount of time that you have to invest in it can't be a huge amount of time because some people don't have that. They might have the drive and the vision, but they may not have the time. Mm-hmm. And as far as like monetarily supporting yourself, we create different types of events that involve the students from the schools, which helps because if you get them when they're in school and you invest your time into them and kind of plant the seed that they want to be involved, they will, hopefully after they graduate, they stay involved.
Right.
So we do, like this year, we're going to do a trivia night. And it's going to be open to the public, and so it can't be strictly dental-related questions. But it's going to be a fun event, and we're going to try to get the Forest Park students involved, that sort of thing. So we'll have, like, silent auctions, the trivia night itself, 50-50, that kind of stuff. So monetarily, you can support yourself by having events like that.
Okay.
And just, I really think it's about planting the seed, finding the right people, and finding what their motivation is. And kind of helping that grow. Take on a mentorship and mentor somebody. It's all about finding the right person with the right personality, with the right, drive to do it, I guess.
Okay. And you said that you feel like you're one of the larger...
yeah, we are. Yeah.
And so, by larger, how many active members come to like your monthly meeting or your or what do you guys do? Monthly meetings or?
We do monthly board meetings like the first Thursday evening of the month.
Okay.
And we typically have a full board. So we have 5 board of trustees. We have the vice president, the secretary, the treasurer, and the president. And then sometimes we'll have like 1 or 2 visitors that some of them come almost to every meeting because they're just involved. So some components don't even have enough to make a full board, so you can't do much with that. And then we have our monthly CE meeting, and that's another way we have a little bit of income. So we typically, on a good night, we have 60 plus that show up for the CE meetings.
Wow. Okay. What about just like your monthly meetings? Is that part of your monthly meeting? Is your CE meeting also, or
no? Our board meeting we typically have between 9 or 10 people.
Okay. Is anybody invited to the board meeting, or is
Absolutely,
it just?
Yes. They're open. open to the public dental hygienists.
Okay.
They can just come
I guess I'm just kind of asking because again, I'm kind of being new, but we probably have like 20 to 25 people that show up for our monthly component meetings.
Okay.
And just kind of seeing, okay, is that a good number, or should
It
we be
seems like
having, should we be having a ton more, or well, yeah, we have a very active board. Our president and vice president are very active. We have a great treasurer and secretary. I mean, they're awesome people.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I'm just trying to see the activity level because I'm looking at, like I said, on this committee that I'm on, there's nobody, in the component next to us.
Right.
And so,
yes.
yeah. So I just trying to see in what I guess expectations of other areas and again seeing how they match. So
It seems like a pretty good meeting, though. I mean,
Okay.
you doubled up on us. We're floating around 10.
yeah.
Well, I don't want to say that Washington people are awesome, but
Well, don't then.
the height.
Well,
right.
I think, and we have
I'll let that be implied then that Washington hygienists are better than all the other ones.
And
I
we have
won't
a pretty
say
good
it out
we have a
loud.
pretty good format 'cause we have like our business part of the meeting, and then usually
Right.
we just had a couple of recent graduates that they just graduated this last June, I guess. Mm-hmm. Because it's almost been a year. They did a huge thing on like air polishing, so it was like a little hour or half hour lecture. And so it was
for
like-
CE?
Yeah, for CE.
Oh, okay.
And
We basically just separate the two
Okay.
meetings. So we have a board meeting one week, and then we have a CE course the next meeting. I guess maybe that's the equivalent.
yeah, and we had people come in and talked about night guard appliances.
Right.
I mean, but they kind of combine them, and the format seems pretty good. And we have
Yeah.
it at a restaurant, and everybody
Yeah.
orders dinner, and it's just kind of it's a nice social event as well. And so, I guess I was just kind of seeing. That's my
Yeah,
only
that's
experience with it. So what are expectations, or what are people doing in other areas? I guess is more what I wanted to kind of find out.
Right, yeah. What day of the week do you do it?
And we do it like the third Tuesday of the month or whatever.
Oh,
It's
so it's
same
still on
idea.
a work night.
Yeah.
So we do ours on a Thursday, and we don't start like until 7 or 7:30, depending on which meeting it is. So
okay.
I'm wondering if we did it earlier, we could combine. That's actually kind of a good idea.
Yeah,
And
we
it frees
start-
up my next Thursday night.
Yeah, we start at 6
This is
o'clock.
what I do. I bring this to you.
Yeah, we start at
You're
6
welcome.
o'clock,
Yeah.
which is a little. I mean, we have like social half hour from like 6 to 6:30. That's kind of when everybody shows
the
up and order
cocktails and stuff.
their food or the drinks. People that do all the drinking,
Right.
and or the people that are speaking. Sometimes they need a little bit of drink before
Right.
they get up there
Yeah.
and speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we have like a little social hour, and then they have like their half hour, business part of it, which I'm still trying to figure out. Like
You have your business meeting in half an hour?
something like that.
Ugh,
Yeah, they're like
ours takes like an hour and a
sometimes-
half.
Quit
sometimes
talking
it's-
so much then.
Sometimes it's
Right,
like 40
right.
minutes, but you know how they
That's
have to
what
like,
I'm saying.
let's call the meeting to order, and we have to second the motion.
Yeah, the
and all
Rogers
that.
rules of meetings.
Yeah,
Is that what it's called?
Yes. Did you
What's
not
it
know
called?
that? Rogers rules?
Rogers rules?
Yeah, of meetings or something
I've
like
always
that.
called it parliamentary procedure.
No,
I don't know
go
if
look
that's
it
right.
up. It's a book or something.
I'll
Yeah.
tell
I
you
haven't
what.
read it, but
Why don't you guys keep talking? I'll just look it up.
yeah, you
yeah.
do
So they, I mean, they got whatever the business. That's what I call the business
Right,
part.
yeah.
And then, like I said, usually it's like an half hour of somebody getting up and giving their presentation, and
Yeah.
I mean, we're done by 8:30. And
that. Wow,
everybody's back to work the next day. It's not a big deal, but
I could dream about that. I wonder how hard that would change, or how hard it would be to change that.
I think it just all depends on how much you want it.
Yeah, I can be a little pushy. I better watch it and be nice.
Oh, I'm looking it up right now.
Okay,
Rog-
Rogers rules.
Rogers rules.
of something, meetings or something. I don't know.
Rogers rules of order
Of order, yeah, maybe
for
that's
dummies. So, oh wait, it's Roberts.
It. Robert, same thing, right?
it was
Roger
really
Rabbit.
close.
Robert Rabbit.
Redford.
Robert
Roger
Rabbit.
Redford.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Robert's
but-
Rules of Order, and it's up-to-date current edition. Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. Oh my goodness, I don't know which one to click on.
And I don't pay attention to the changes and stuff, so we could be totally doing everything wrong.
Yeah, and you guys might, if you're a larger association, you might have more things to talk about. We kind of just
Yeah.
talk about like the current things that are going on locally. I mean, we've had a lot of change like in our leadership in the last 6 months or so, and I think we're becoming more active than what we were, and so so maybe we don't quite have enough to talk about like if you guys have been established. So
Right,
I-
yeah.
If the bylaws of an organization specify Robert's Rules of Orders newly released or revised as the adopted parliamentary authority, then this is the book that will provide all the details.
Wow.
So run out and get that, hygienist. This episode is brought to you by the Rogers Rules of Order.
I thought it was
online.
Rockstar.
Also brought to you by Rockstar Recovery. Energy and hydration for only 10 calories. Plus
Lord.
electrolytes. That's pretty good. I think we can be done if you want to be done. I know you got stuff to do.
I got a story.
You haven't... Oh, I'm sorry.
He
thought
totally
we told this story.
hijacked that thing.
No, I
That's
hijacked
right.
it.
No,
I forgot about the
this is
story.
what
I'm so sorry.
happened. This is
I don't want to
what
be
happened
done.
to me.
I just feel like I'm taking all of your time because
I was scared for my life last night.
I was
not cool.
nowhere around.
Right.
It was not me.
So, okay. First of all, I stayed at the Palmer House Hilton, and it's super old, and you walk in there, and it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's awesome.
Did we do
But it's
something earlier at the Palmer House?
Yes, we did. AOSH had their
Yeah,
meeting there.
exactly. So it's super old. So you walk in, and you think, oh, gangsters were here. They probably killed people here. There's probably ghosts here. Right? I mean, that's
Right.
the logical thing to think.
Most people would. I
Right,
think.
exactly.
You're not wrong.
So,
And there's
okay.
also booze hiding behind something from the
It's
prohibition.
speakeasies and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so two-part story.
Okay.
Two-part story. So in my hotel room, there is a picture of a chandelier, and it's a huge picture. It's probably like 4 feet tall
Okay.
by 3 feet wide. But it's not just like a picture. It is like, it was like a ghosty picture. Like it looked like a
This
ghost.
hand
a
movement,
ghost.
people can't see.
It was like a ghost chandelier. It was so weird. Okay, so normally you see a picture, the colors are vivid, and you can tell what it is, right? This picture, I had to sit there and like stare at and go, what is that? Because it was so whitish, like faded, but it wasn't faded. It looked faded, but it wasn't faded.
Do you think? Are you saying that the chandelier was a ghost, or are you saying that you had this picture on a wall, but then there was a ghost between you and the picture, and so that what's made it faded?
No.
I don't understand where you're going with this.
No, the picture itself was like, it was faded, but it was supposed to be like, it was very bright
How
white.
did the frame look?
It was gold and big.
But that didn't look faded.
No,
just
no,
the
no,
picture
no.
on the inside.
Exactly.
So it was a real picture hanging up in your room.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this thing, and I'm going, if I squint my eyes, I can probably see ghosts, so I probably shouldn't look at it right before I'm going to go to bed.
Or say Bloody Mary 3 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I mean, maybe spirits and all that. Maybe.
I got a story for you after the podcast then.
So are you going to play this backwards, like, and hear the ghost talking in the
Exactly.
background? Okay, that even scares me. I better
Andrew.
stop.
Kill Andrew.
So I'm sitting here looking at this painting, telling myself, don't look at it, don't squint at it, because you're about to go to
For
sleep.
the millennials, that's by the way, that was a record, like the old record player.
Yeah,
thing.
you play it backwards.
They don't
yeah.
know what a record is. Sorry,
No,
I
the
really
vinyl
need to-
is still good, and it's making a comeback.
Oh,
Vinyl
that's
has
good to know.
excellent sound.
I'm sorry for doubting you, millennials. Sorry, go ahead with your story.
Yeah, they know what it is. Some of them.
When were you born?
Anyway,
Huh?
When were you born?
She's telling a story, Mike.
Okay. I was trying to make sure what generation of...
Non-millennial.
he's a
Here's the thing.
Cool kid.
Mike only uses this little argument when it's beneficial for him. Because I say I'm not a millennial, then he says, yeah, but it's a state of mind, so you're probably not. But then
Gosh.
then he's like, oh, wait, no, it's years. So what is it, Mike? Is it years or state of mind? Because a lot of things say 84 and beyond, and I'm 83.
I would say it's still a state of mind thing.
Okay,
but
then I'm not a millennial.
I'm just throwing it right back at
I'm
you
not a
because you like
millennial.
to give
I'm
crap
in
to
the
everybody.
70s, so I'm
in the
very
70s
clear
too,
of
so
the
it's not
whole
millennial.
millennial thing. Anyway, so that's one story. So I didn't look at it, I didn't squint at it, and I went to sleep. Did not have nightmares. Thank you very much. That's one thing. I just thought it was weird. I just thought the painting itself was just weird. Like, why would they have a super, super light picture of a chandelier?
That is a great question.
You should ask them. Story number 2. You
We'll
ready
go
for
over there
this?
and I will interview them for the podcast.
I wonder if it was like original painting from back then, and that's why it's kind of
It
faded.
wasn't a painting though. It was like they took a picture. It was a photo.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Back then, like the photo, like everything had to hold like still for like 10 minutes while that was developing.
So the shutter was just open that whole time?
No, the ghost moved the chandelier when it was taken.
There was probably ghosts in my room. I'm just saying. I didn't hear them, didn't see them, didn't feel them, but they were probably
I
there.
got stories for you, buddy. Can't wait. Okay, story number 2. Or
Story number
part
2.
2.
Yeah, this was weird. Okay, so I'm getting ready to go to bed. We just ate at Wan Com in Chinatown. It was delicious, by the way.
Oh yeah, I saw
was
you post about
amazing.
that.
It was
was dim
very
sum,
good.
right? It was a dim sum restaurant.
Oh, we probably
don't
need to go there.
Maybe.
I don't even know what it's
Did
called.
you just to not talk about ghosts, but did you see the light flashing and
I know.
everything
The light
dimming?
just turned
Billy
on in
the
this
Kid
room.
or somebody.
Yeah.
That was random, but anyway.
Okay.
He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
probably at that hotel.
Was he in this area? Billy the Kid? I feel like that's a
No.
southern thing.
No.
Sorry.
It was
continue
probably
on.
like 1800s or something. And I don't think this Palmer House is that old. Anyway, story number 2. I just got done eating. They dropped us off at the hotel about 9 o'clock-ish, and that's usually my bedtime.
Right.
So I get in the elevator, and some lady's rushing up, and I hold the elevator because I'm nice
Right.
most of the time. So she gets in, and then she also gets in with this guy holding probably a two-year-old little boy.
Okay.
And I start smelling something weird, and it was pot. And I know it was pot. I don't know how I know that, but it was pot. Weed. Marijuana. Mary Jane. All those, yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I mean, I think I do now.
It's some leaf with
now that you've
jagged
explained
edges
it
and
to
stuff.
me.
So I'm sitting here going, okay, play it cool. And then the guy looks at me and he goes, do you think this baby looks like me? And I go, excuse me? And he
Mari
goes,
said it wasn't, but
I go, I guess. I don't know. And he goes, just answer me. Does this baby look like me? And so I'm looking at this baby, and cute baby. And I'm looking at the guy, and I'm looking at the baby, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess so. And he goes, what are you talking about? This baby does not look like me. Do you see my nose? It's pointed. It's wide. It's pointed. Look at his nose. It's wide. It's not pointed. And I was like, okay. And he goes, this does not look like me. And I go, okay, fine. I go, and then the complexion, you're a little bit darker than the baby is. I'm like, okay, so that's what I notice. And then he goes back to but you said my nose, this baby does not look like me. And I'm sitting here going, why am I involved in this conversation? And the lady goes, well, she answered you, just leave her alone. And so I'm like, yes, leave me alone. But I didn't say that. I'm trying to be nice because I'm from the country, and, I'm just
That's
a
what
nice
country
person,
mice do.
whatever.
Southern hospitality.
So finally, the elevator gets to my floor, and he goes, what's wrong with you white people? Just tell me the truth. You can see my nose is different. Our complexion's different. And I said, I told you he was a little bit lighter skinned than you. I told you that much. And then the elevator door starts to close. So I go to my room quickly and lock my door. He was not happy. At first, when he asked me this, I was like, is this guy joking? Hey, you're in a situation and you try to figure it out, what's going on here? Is this a joke? Is this not a joke? Mm-hmm. I quickly discovered it was not a joke. And this guy obviously didn't want that baby to be his baby.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Or maybe
when you were,
Is that not weird?
yeah.
maybe they were trying to kidnap that. That was a sad way to. And then
you
they're
know,
like, this baby, she wanted to kidnap it. And he's like, no, we can't do this because the baby doesn't look like me. They'll know that's not my kid.
that could be.
I'm kind of disappointed in you for not calling Child Protective Services.
What's the number?
Well, obviously,
1-800 Child Protection Services.
No,
Dot
it's
com.
not. No, it's not. No, it's not. .com. Is that what you said? Yeah. .com. Anyway, but so stuff like that doesn't really happen to me in
You
the
need to
country.
get out more. You're missing out.
What-
Wasn't that kind of fun, though?
No.
You had a story. You have 2 stories to tell now. This is the stuff that I crave that will happen to me, so that when I go back
Really?
and talk to my patients, I can tell them stories about my travels.
Really?
I mean, maybe not that one because it's a little bit
Okay.
racially inflammatory, but
And
other
it
than
wasn't even
that,
my fault. I
No,
was
I mean,
I was trying to be genuinely
and way not
honest
to represent
with him.
all the white people.
What's that?
Way not to represent all the white people. You really let us all down.
Well, apparently he had a stereotype of what I'm like.
Yeah,
Because
obviously.
of the color of my skin. See, it's kind of like a I don't know.
It doesn't go both ways. I'm sorry. You're not going to get any
That's
How does
sympathy
it
for that.
not?
I don't even want to talk about it. You are not going to get any sympathy for that. Not from me, not from anybody.
He's the one that said you white people.
It's okay for him to say that.
No, it's not.
So this is kind of stuff that you need to have on your podcast.
I normally don't talk about this stuff.
I don't
and
either.
I didn't mention race at all until he got to the point where he said,
Yeah, that is weird that happened.
it is.
That's
I
the
mean,
end of
that kind of stuff does not happen every day, I hope, in Chicago.
Well, it does in Portland.
You know one thing that I'm really sad that I didn't get to do while I was here?
What?
See the bean.
Oh, we saw it multiple times.
Okay,
we were
great for you.
Driving by it.
When did you take me with you to see the bean?
I invited you like 4 times.
What?
I have record right here. Look, here on my phone.
Whatever.
Look, it's right there.
Booby, pushing buttons here. Can you hear me pushing the boop? Pushing buttons.
It says.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, we didn't actually look at it yet.
So can you walk under it? Is it high enough to where you walk? Is that what they call it, the bean?
Well, yeah, but I think it's called something else too.
I don't remember.
To look it up.
Yeah,
but I always call it the bean. But you can go under it and like it's your reflection, right? And it's all sorts of weird little things too. And then on the outside, different reflections. It's really cool. But I mean, it's a 5-minute see and then you're done kind of thing. But
is it like the #1 tourist attraction of Chicago?
I don't know.
it's up there.
Millennium Park in general, probably. I think it's called Millennium Park.
Millennium
I
Park.
mean, that's what I wanted to see. But you know,
that's cool.
Avid kept me so busy.
Freaking Avid.
I know.
Well, it's great that they were that busy, though.
Yes,
That
I'm
is
not
great.
complaining about that part. I'm just complaining I should have stayed at least an extra day and got to
You should
sightsee or
have.
something.
Michael and I are staying until Monday.
Well, that's good for you and Mike. Here you
So,
go again. It's all
I hope
about
that
you.
you understand. No, I think it's a good lesson for you to learn for when you become a famous podcaster.
Right.
Not that I am. I'm just saying, like in general, that you take extra time because you're going to be podcasting during the whole entire conference,
Right.
and then you'll need to take some time for yourself.
Speaking of, don't you know who you are?
That's you. Don't you know who you are? So I have a story then for our
Okay,
listeners.
tell me the story.
No, you lived it. Like,
Oh.
this is
It's
you.
that story.
Yeah. So we were supposed to have this lighthearted meetup, right?
Yes.
And not supposed to. We did end up having
We did, yeah.
minus Sandy Lee.
Not
So-
my fault.
It was
not my
it was a
fault.
pretty awesome.
It was really fun. We met up at, what was it called?
Kitty O'Shea's.
Kitty
Yeah,
O'Shea's.
yeah.
And there was a good turnout. We had some
Yeah.
good food before you got there.
I didn't eat any of it.
And
I
like
came full.
it was fantastic.
There was a lot of really good conversation before
Yeah.
you got
Great conversation.
Great.
Amazing people were there. Slowly started filtering out, and there's only about 10, 12 of us left, and then
there. Before you got
and
there.
then Sandy shows up.
Right.
As they're like, I guess I'll stay for another 5 minutes because I feel bad that she's, just got
Yeah.
here and we left, and so we didn't get a chance to hang out. But
I know.
but you couldn't get in also.
Yeah.
And then that was the funniest part because you're like, I'm like, why didn't you tell them who you were? And they're like, don't you know who I am? Anyways.
Yeah, so I walk up to the door, and the lady's standing in front of the door, and there's like 3 or 4 people standing outside the door. I think they're just hanging out, whatever. And I'm like, booking it to the door because I'm late, which I hate being late. Like, hate it.
Yeah.
So I apologize sincerely. I'm glad you love me otherwise.
What's even more
Probably
comical
would've-
about it is I went out the front door,
Yes?
made a phone call, and then
went
came
right
back.
in. You suck.
That
Oh,
front
my
door
gosh.
is, yeah.
It
there's
is wide
no one
open. So I
manning that
just
front door.
Okay, so...
But no one told me that part. I didn't realize I thought there was someone over there too. I didn't realize you
Right.
kept to that glass door.
Yeah, I went through the hotel.
You went through
to
the hotel
side
or
door,
something, yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So I walk up and I was like, she's blocking the door. I was like, can I get in? And she goes, oh, no, we're at capacity. We can't let anybody in until people leave. So I'm like, oh, are you serious? I'm meeting people here. Like, and then as soon as I said it, I'm like, she doesn't give a crap
Yeah.
that I'm waiting to meet people, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I kind of, tossed my head and walked a few steps away and kind of waited. And then like 4 people walk out, and I'm like, okay, here we go. There's 3 people sitting over there. There's me. Perfect. And she
Yeah.
goes, no, we're like 33 people over. And I was like,
Whoa.
what? Yeah. So I had to wait. And then finally, like, I guess a group left, and finally she let me in. I was
A
like,
group of 33 left? Come on.
well, no, but there
No,
were
I know what you mean.
two different entrances that were being guarded. So I guess people left out of that one and out of this one.
Wow.
So what do they go around and count people? Is that what happens?
Yeah, they were counting. I'm serious. I used to be
No,
a
I mean,
bouncer
like-
at a
no, I mean,
nightclub.
like-
We count people. Click, click, click.
But when we went in, there's no one counting us when we came in. We must not have seen them.
Yeah, it was probably when they got fuller and fuller.
Yeah,
and
probably
then-
weren't at close
yeah.
to capacity
Fuller.
yet.
And
So,
fuller of
so you message
baloney.
me. I'm like, message you on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, I'm out here, but they won't let me in until 33 people leave. And then you were like, didn't you tell them who you are? And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to give you trouble when I got in there. You're
was
the
fun.
famous one. Don't they know who you are?
Mike's the famous one. Michael Johnston, RDH.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that was my story.
Buddy,
That was your story.
134. That's where we're at. That was a decent podcast.
Sweet.
Well, it's not quite over yet. So I got a couple things for you.
Oh, crap.
Cool.
So sometimes at the end of the podcast, they'll do like a rapid fire question thing.
Oh, yeah.
Go on. That happened like 3 times on our first 3 episodes. That's as far as Mike's gotten into
But
our...
those are fun.
Okay, so
what you
we're
need to
gonna
do.
kind of twist it a little bit because I'm from Washington,
Yeah.
pretty much from Washington my whole life that I can remember. The country thing I didn't really grow up with, so I looked up some really awesome sayings from the country, and this is
Okay.
going to test your, and you have to translate for me
Okay,
what
I'll
they
do what I
are. So this
can.
is going
Love
to
it.
test your country bumpkinness.
You know, those are local things too. So if it's like a
Oh,
different
don't start
state
making
country,
excuses now.
No, this
I have
Don't
to
start
excuse
hedging
my
your
failures.
bets.
no, specifically this is from countrybumpkinness.com. So
Oh,
you
Lord.
said
Okay.
country bumpkin. So
Well, I
All
said
right.
bumpkins. I think she said...
I
Boondocks.
said something about the boonies or something. I
okay,
think.
well, whatever. But really, it's not from country bumpkinness. I just made that up too. So.
Oh,
Um,
Don't
liar.
say that.
Okay,
liar.
so this
He is.
is the
It's
first
hard
one
to
that I
live with him.
understand.
Okay.
There's a 10-gallon hat on a 2-gallon head. And before I should make the statement is, I don't know what any of these
Can I
mean.
play?
Yeah, you can too, but I don't know what any of these mean, and they might be inappropriate. Or
Hold on.
they might be
You don't have the
totally,
answers?
totally appropriate. Oh, yeah, I totally have the ansers.
oh, that one. It sounds
So-
like
You're
it's
too
from
big for your
the 1800s
britches.
Wild Wild West. I don't know what
It
that
sounds like
means.
you think you're bigger than you are.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
kind of too big for your britches.
Gosh, Andrew, you're
I know.
smart.
Okay, 1 point to Andrew.
Yeah, this is...
Oh,
rapid-
are we competing?
Go.
Yeah, now I
You
guess
didn't
now
tell
we're
me
competing.
that.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't
Can
realize...
I Google it?
Let's see. There was another one. Organized as a handful of worms in a bucket of boiled okra.
Say that one more
What
time.
the heck?
Organized
that?
as a handful of worms in a bucket of boiled okra.
Okay, I like okra, but I have no idea.
Have you had boiled okra before?
It's very slimy, so maybe it has
It is
something to do
slimy.
with the slime of the worms and the
So
slime
they're
of
just
the
getting...
okra.
So it's obviously about being unorganized and being all over the
Right,
place.
Right.
Kind of like being sharp as a whatever, one of those things. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Needle in a haystack? I don't know.
The needle and haystack's on here, but...
Okay, I wait
It doesn't
till
say
we
the
get to
answer?
that one.
no, it
I'm
doesn't
gonna
say...
win that
Of
one.
course it says the answer. I'm just not telling you guys what the answers are.
Well, if you don't know the answers, how do you know if I win?
You win, Andrew.
It's my podcast.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, what were some other ones? Let's see. Oh, popular as an albino wino at a family reunion.
Albino wino. That just sounds like they're trying to rhyme.
Yeah, I
It's as
don't.
close as they come to rhyming.
Albino rhino?
Albino
wait,
wino.
Albino rhino.
Rhino or wino?
Wino rhino?
Albino
all three.
wino rhino?
Yes.
Isn't like a wino somebody who's like super into wine?
They
No, a
they're
wino
an
is like an
imbibber.
alcoholic.
Imbiber? Imbibber.
What?
Imbib?
I don't know what you're saying.
That's to drink.
What?
Right?
What
Sorry.
drink? Spell it.
Rockstar.
Rockstar.
R-O-C-K.
Oh, stop.
No, I don't know. Like an imbibber, but I don't know if it's imbibber or imbiber.
Okay, I got 2 more.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotta
So
ring in.
homely,
That's
she needs a painting.
What?
So homely, she needs a painting.
She needs a paint.
Is that like putting lipstick on a pig?
Okay, see, perfect. See, that's what I'm trying to find is sayings like that. So what does that mean?
That means
That
somebody's
you're wasting
so
your time.
ugly. Yeah, you're basically wasting your
Like a
time.
10
You
cow
are
wife,
too ugly.
10 cow wife or
Ugly.
whatever.
I don't know.
What'd you say?
I don't know.
10 cow wife. I can't remember what that was. Okay, last one.
Oh, wow.
Trying to pick fly crap out the pepper.
That's basically
yeah.
means impossible.
Yeah, it's an impossibility.
Okay.
Do I get a point?
Yeah, totally.
You do.
I'll
You
get
lost.
2. He
Was
gets
that the-
3. Tie game. Everybody wins.
That was
Everybody
the
gets a
bonus
trophy.
round, and I win.
It's like golf.
Everybody gets a trophy.
It's like golf. Low
Lowest point.
Low
No.
score wins.
Oh, my.
Well, I'm not going to have her on the podcast ever again then.
Well, I'll just start my own then.
I double dog dare you to then.
Oh,
You
great.
won't do it.
You're using reverse
You won't do
psychology.
it.
It's not going to work.
Darn it, you know what I'm doing. All right, buddy. Hey, listeners, thanks for hanging in there with us if you're still here with us.
Hey, buddy.
And, maybe try and get into Lighthearted, but, there's a waiting list right now of
1,600.
1,600
Waiting.
people. So unless you know somebody.
Yeah, that's one thing that I had a ton of lighthearted people come and visit me at the Avid booth, and some of them brought friends with them, and I kind of vetted them a little bit, and I was like, can you handle this kind of stuff?
Right.
And then some of them had been waiting for a long time, so I just went ahead and let them in. I mean, I'm in charge of it, so why can't I?
Yeah,
That's right.
You make the rules, and then
Right?
Yes,
we make rules out of necessity, so...
Yeah, like letting Mike in, because
Yeah.
you don't want to incur the wrath of Mike.
Right.
I think everyone knows that.
He's dangerous.
He's dangerous. All right. Thank you, listeners. Have a great week. I love you so much.
Peace out.
Don't you have a country bumpkin saying to say before you go?
Meet y'all down by the creek.
There you go.
That was so good.
Catch you on the lighthearted side. How about that?
No,
That's not country,
no,
though.
that's getting cut.